Millions of Nigerians know the pain, the fear, the loss, the unanswered questions. But behind the violence is a story rarely told. A story of poverty, belief, betrayal, and radicalization. This is how Boko Haram was born. A young charismatic preacher named Mohammed Yusuf founded a small Islamic movement in Maiduguri, Borno State. Yusuf claimed modern society had become corrupt. He preached that Western education, what we call Boko, was dangerous and un-Islamic. Locals soon gave his followers a nickname, Boko Haram, meaning Western education is forbidden. But the movement didn't grow because of ideology alone. Northern Nigeria was suffering from deep poverty, unemployment, and frustration with government corruption. To many young men, Yusuf's message was a promise of justice, purpose, and a better life. The group soon built its own community outside Maiduguri, a place locals called Afghanistan. Yusuf's followers lived by their own rules, rejecting government schools, government laws, and even the Nigerian system. As Boko Haram grew, clashes with security agents increased. Members refused to obey traffic laws, refused vaccinations, refused schooling. By 2009, tension had reached a breaking point. By the morning of July 30th, 2009, Maiduguri had turned into a battlefield. For 4 days, Boko Haram fighters and Nigerian security forces had exchanged gunfire across Borno State. Police stations were attacked, government buildings burned, and hundreds of residents fled their homes. The Nigerian government used overwhelming force. Cities burned, hundreds died. The security forces crushed the uprising. Amid the chaos, security forces were closing in on the group's leader, Mohammed Yusuf. After hours of fighting, soldiers tracked him to a hideout inside the compound of the state governor's guest house. Yusuf was captured alive, dusty, exhausted, and visibly wounded. When the violence ended, more than 700 people were dead.
They don't surrender to you. At the last minute, they still want to fight you. So most times we take them out. They still fight you. They're prepared to die. They made up their mind to die. They say it's a jihad, so they want you to get them alive. I know that there are a lot of foreigners among them. From the people judging by the people who were killed during the attack, there are a lot of people that are just not Nigerians. And again, I spoke with Mohammed Yusuf on his accusation of weaponry. He said he buys them from Niger, Chad, Cameroon. That is a market for it. And he says that's where he gets weapons from.
Yusuf was captured and later killed in police custody. This single event transformed Boko Haram. To his followers, Yusuf became a symbol of injustice. Proof that the government was the enemy, thousands of survivors vowed revenge. This event radicalized the movement. After Yusuf's death, his deputy Abubakar Shekau took over. Shekau's ideology was far more extreme. No negotiation, no mercy, pure violent jihad, a desire to overthrow Nigeria. Brutal interpretation of Islamic law under Shekau, Boko Haram became more violent, more militarized, more ideological, more unpredictable. On the 16th of June 2011, Boko Haram carried out a suicide car bomb attack against the Nigerian police force headquarters in Abuja, killing several people. This is widely identified as the group's first significant attack in the capital under Shekau's leadership. Abubakar Shekau oversaw Boko Haram's most violent early attacks, including the UN building bombing in Abuja, the Christmas Day church bombings, and the mass killings in Kano that left over 100 dead. Due to his deadly bombings and attacks on civilians and international targets, Abubakar Shekau became one of the world's most wanted terrorists. In June 2013, the US placed a $7 million bounty on him, while Nigeria offered 50 million naira for information leading to his capture, a clear sign of how urgently both nations sought to stop his reign of terror. On April 14, 2014, Boko Haram stormed a girls' school in Chibok, Borno State. Disguised as soldiers, they fired shots, burned buildings, and forced 276 students into trucks, driving them into the Sambisa forest. By morning, the girls were gone, shocking the world.
100 students are kidnapped by
Kidnap of the
suspected Boko
Chibok
Haram
girls have
militants.
received international plan to stand with Nigeria.
Nigerian government should have shared it.
They don't really understand Islam.
What began as sectarian crisis in the northeastern parts of the country has gradually evolved into terrorist activities in different parts of the country.
Boko Haram taunted Nigeria through propaganda videos, with leader Abubakar Shekau mocking the government, claiming responsibility for the Chibok girls' kidnapping. Even after major offensives, the group regrouped, insisting it could not be defeated.
In Allah, I trust in Allah. You have been going round saying,
bring back our girls. Oh, bring back our army. Bring back our army. Jonathan! Girl, Christian, bring back our army.
By 2014, Boko Haram became the deadliest terror group in the world, Global Terrorism Index, a regional threat affecting Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. A humanitarian crisis with millions displaced Nigeria sought international help. The US, UK, France, and African Union all became involved in intelligence or training. According to United Nations and humanitarian monitoring groups, the Boko Haram insurgency in northern Nigeria had displaced more than 2 million people. The Nigerian military has faced criticism for failing to rescue those kidnapped by Boko Haram, but the group's shifting tactics, especially the use of suicide bombers, have made them increasingly difficult to track and defeat. Shekau released a propaganda video in October 2014 in which he dismissed claims by the Nigerian military that he had been killed, saying, "Here I am, alive. I will only die the day Allah takes my breath." In early 2015, Nigeria, Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Benin agreed to launch a joint offensive under the MNJTF. This alliance was created specifically because Boko Haram was controlling big territories like Gwoza. In 2015, Nigerian troops recaptured Gwoza, the town Boko Haram had declared its self-proclaimed capital, dealing a major blow to the insurgents' so-called caliphate. On March 7th, with his caliphate crumbling, Shekau released an audio message pledging allegiance to ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Just days later, on March 12th, ISIS accepted the pledge and renamed Boko Haram the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP. ISIS leadership soon became dissatisfied with Shekau because he killed Muslims at random. He executed his own commanders. He was uncontrollable and extreme. He refused strategic advice. In August 2016, ISWAP's leadership formally expelled Abubakar Shekau as its commander and appointed Abu Musab al-Barnawi, Yusuf's son, as the new leader of ISWAP. Shekau rejected the move, broke away, and fought back, triggering a major split within the group. While some loyal fighters followed him, the majority remained with Baghdadi's ISWAP faction. Abu Musab al-Barnawi was more structured, targeted military bases instead of civilians, collected taxes, governed communities, followed ISIS's global strategy. In a 10-minute audio message recorded in both Arabic and Hausa, Abu Bakr Shekau said he was still the leader of Boko Haram. He claimed he had been deceived and accused Abu Musab al-Barnawi of carrying out a coup to take the group from him. On February 19, 2018, Boko Haram kidnapped 110 schoolgirls from Dapchi in Yobe State. A month later, 104 were released, except Leah Sharibu. The militants kept her in captivity because she refused to renounce her Christian faith and convert to Islam. She has remained in their custody ever since. In May 2021, ISWAP fighters launched a major attack on Boko Haram's Sambisa forest stronghold, cornering Abu Bakr Shekau. After intense clashes, many Boko Haram fighters fled or surrendered. Shekau was eventually tracked down by ISWAP. They offered him a chance to join ISWAP, but he refused to surrender. Instead, he killed himself with a suicide vest, ending his brutal reign. After his death, some Boko Haram fighters surrendered. Others joined ISWAP, which took over the forest and consolidated power. Shekau's death marked the end of the most violent era of Boko Haram. Some of Shekau's big attacks that shook the country are the United Nations office bombing, the many attacks on January 20th, 2012, where more than 185 people died in one day, the 2016 Borno bombing, the 2014 Nyanya bomb blast, the Maiduguri bomb blast, the Yola bomb blast, and many more. Without Shekau, Boko Haram became smaller, disorganized, internally divided. Many members defected, surrendered, or were absorbed by ISWAP.